Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting version of Chip Talks podcast. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about why we're getting sicker in light of all the money that we're spending on healthcare. So, why are we getting sicker even though we're spending a lot more money than we've ever spent on healthcare? Well, let's start with some obvious problems. Again, we have to, I think there's some logical assumptions that we can make that we have to run all this by. So if you're looking at the current state of healthcare, you've got to really look at healthcare as a business. And healthcare as a business isn't incented around getting you better. Healthcare as a business is incented around management of your disease state, right? So we don't really make money in the healthcare system by curing your cancer. We make money by managing your cancer experience. And the longer that draws out and the more, let's say, therapies and diagnostics and all those type things that you have to go through, the better it is for my health system because we just move that dollar around and around and around and around. It's evil as hell, but it's a good business model. Okay. So look at something like airline travel. Okay. So, you go buy an airline plane ticket. As soon as you buy that ticket, basically a stake is set in the ground for when you're going to travel. And as soon as you go check in at the airport, another stake is set in the ground for that guy's here. He's checked in at the airport. You might check some bags. So another stake is driven into the ground that this guy's got bags or this family's got bags. They've got bags that they're checking. And then as you sort of board your flight, boom, another stake is put in the ground. He's on the flight. And as your baggage boards the flight, boom, another stake is put in the ground. And as you transfer, again, stakes are put in the ground. But your whole air travel is managed soup to nuts, right? So absolutely soup to nuts. Your whole air travel is managed. What happens in healthcare? What happens if you're on that, let's say, statin drug, or you're on that high blood pressure drug? Is anybody managing that for you? Is anybody saying, well, your blood pressure was here and we put you on this drug and now it looks like it's changing and it's getting a little better, or it might be getting worse? Is that a good outcome? No. Is that anybody measuring that? No. Again, we do a worse job in healthcare of managing data than we do in an airline baggage system. An airline bag is more valuably managed data-wise than your health is. So how insane is that? And how are we going to get better without any kind of a feedback system, right? How in the world are you going to get better without any kind of feedback system to help understand where we're breaking and where we're messing up? And that's on purpose. Okay, that's my thought. Again, that's on purpose, right? Fits the business model. Keep you sick, keep you healthy, round and round and round you go in your sickness, and we'll just manage that sickness until you die or until you somehow get better. We don't care. Again, it's money to us. Management, management, management. The incentive is not to get you better. So a couple of things that the health system doesn't know right now that, these guys aren't trained in any of this. So your physician, your doctor might be a really good doctor and he's gone out or she's gone out and they've learned more about what I'm going to tell you about. But generally physicians don't know this. So they don't know three major things that are critical to your health. And just think about the insanity of this. Okay. So first of all, physicians aren't trained on your master regulatory system. Now, it's not just physicians. This is researchers. This is people who teach physicians. This is dietitians. This is everyone. No one knows about your master regulatory system. Okay. If you ask most physicians, gee, doc, what regulates the human form? What regulates all this? We've got to have a master regulatory system. It's not just a bunch of pieces that somehow come together. There's got to be some overall operating intelligence to us. What is it? And they're going to go, oh, Well, I think it's the central nervous system. Well, okay, doc, what regulates that? Something called the endocannabinoid system that you're not taught about, right? So all these, crazy hippies, let's say out here in cannabis land that have learned something about this system, that's why they're so excited. This is a master regulatory system. It controls everything about us. It's driven and fed by natural fats. I can configure myself with this system. And you don't even know about it, doc? Researcher? You're trying to help me with my health? You don't know about my master regulatory system? Sit down. Get in the back of the room. The second thing that you don't know about, and again, I feel sorry for these physicians. I really do, because they need to be put in the back of the room. They're like children. If you can't learn, if you can't go learn some new things, then you're not going to be part of the health system that is coming. It's just that simple, boys and girls. So the second thing that they don't know about are essential nutrients. You're going to take care of me without knowledge of my master regulatory system and without knowledge of what I need to get down the road? Really? I don't think I'm going to go to you, Frankenstein. No telling what you're going to come up with. And again, you got to feel sorry for them, right? No physician is trained about your master regulatory system. No physician is trained about your oil and gas. How in the world are you going to beat disease without oil and gas? I mean, am I going to get to Texas without oil and gas in my car? No. Am I going to beat cancer without oil and gas in me? No. Am I going to beat autoimmunes? No. Am I going to beat IBS or Crohn's or any of that? No. I've got to have oil and gas. I've got to have oil and gas in order to live a robust life. Again, God is a perfect engineer. Every cell is striving toward perfect form and function. If you are not perfect form and function, then something's going on. Okay? You don't understand your master regulatory system. You're not balancing it. You don't understand essential nutrients. You're not providing them. Without oil and gas, you're not going to get down the road. The cool thing is our bodies are so beautifully designed that we triage. We don't realize that we're missing our oil and gas because we rob less important structures for oil and gas. My hair is gray because of a lack of collagen and essential nutrients. My teeth fall out because of a lack of essential nutrients. My eyes go bad because of a lack of essential nutrients. My skin gets wrinkled because of a lack of essential nutrients. My bones go bad because of a lack of essential nutrients. I basically die because of a lack of essential nutrients. I malnourish myself through my anticipated 85-year lifespan. That doesn't sound very robust, does it? What if we had this figured out? What if we had a 0-year-old? Here, I'm just going to provide you essential nutrients and everything that you need for perfect growth and health all through your life. I think you're going to have a little more robust life than what I'm having. Okay. I think you're going to live a lot longer. I think you're going to live free of disease a lot better than I do. So what is the third thing that your doctor doesn't realize or know that's happening to us very obviously in our health? Infection. You can look this up. Ask your favorite AI tool. What is the leading cause of death around the world? And it'll say chronic inflammation. You say 80% of us around will die of chronic inflammation. They say, well, what causes chronic? It's a horrible thing, chronic inflammation. I don't want it. What causes it? Yeah, environment. You might live over a lead mine. That could happen. You might work in a plutonium factory. That could happen. Quit if you do. Those are lead and plutonium are environmental things that will absolutely affect your health. Okay. You might be super allergic to stuff. Again, omega-3, omega-6 configuration will determine what that reaction looks like in you. But for most of us, what plagues us, what is our chronic inflammation, is infection. We're all infected. What happens if you don't get your essential nutrients right off? You get infected. Okay? So we're all infected, all of us. Every person that walks into our clinic, again, non-diagnostically, I couldn't make this determination diagnostically, but when we put them on our scanner, we see infection. We see infection in everyone. And why? Because we don't understand our essential nutrients. Again, you build your defense by essential nutrients. And one of the most critical essential nutrients for your defense is omega-3 and omega-6 fats. And if you misconfigure that, you're misconfiguring everything in you. Okay? So why are we missing in health? We're spending more money than we've ever spent. We're researching these things. Really? Are we? Because we're missing at the most basic and fundamental level. We don't understand our master regulatory system. We don't understand our essential nutrients, and we don't understand what big causes those two things cause, which is infection. Okay? So as we begin to understand these things, we will have way more robust health outcomes. Again, I just had this whole conversation with somebody about stem cells. Well, if you throw a stem cell in a polluted body, are you going to get a good result? No. If you throw a stem cell in a robust body, you've got a lot higher probability of getting a better result. And that's all explainable and mathematically can be hashed out. And, we've done some of that, right? So I've written a lot of white papers on all this. Anyway, so if you're curious about this, tune in, keep listening, ask questions, put some stuff in the comments, happy to answer. We'll be talking a lot more about this. This is something that I talk about all the time. But again, if you want optimal health, you cannot have optimal health without understanding your master regulatory system, which is the endocannabinoid system and what feeds it, understanding essential nutrients and how important they are, your oil and gas, and then understanding the consequences of infection. And again, it's God's world. God built us a perfect pharmacopoeia. There's nothing that can infect you that we can't go out here in nature and find a way to kill it and get rid of it. Okay? So pretty cool stuff. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you guys. And we'll be back next time with another exciting version of Chip Talks Health. See you guys. Bye.